Have you ever wondered where humanity's journey truly began? Was it in a forgotten garden, hidden in ancient soil, or perhaps a land older than memory itself? Long before maps divided continents and stories splintered into countless religions, there was Africa, a land of vast deserts, lush jungles, and endless skies, a place some would call the cradle of all life. Here, beneath the ancient sun, people first looked to the heavens and found reflections of their own souls. Myths rose with the morning light, legends whispered on the evening breeze. It was in Africa that the first people spoke of gods who walked among them, spirits who stirred in rivers and trees, and ancestors who guided them like constellations lighting the night. Africa was not just a place, it was a living story, woven with the essence of life itself. For the people of this land, the divine and earthly were intertwined, and every breath was a continuation of an ancient, sacred journey. Among the Yoruba people of West Africa, an ancient tale speaks of Oloran, the high god, and Orunmila, the wise and powerful deity who descended from the heavens to create humanity. With a handful of soil and the command of Oloran, Orunmila molded the first humans, crafting them from the very earth that would nourish them, sustain them, and eventually welcome them back. Life, in this story, was sacred, an extension of the earth itself, a piece of the divine. In the east, among the Dogon people of Mali, there's another tale of creation, the story of the Namo, water spirits sent from the stars. The Namo, part human, part divine, came to shape the world and fill it with wisdom and life. To the Dogon, humanity was not an accident but a sacred design, a legacy born from the rhythms of water, the memory of stars, and the harmony of earth and sky. These stories paint Africa as not just the origin of human life, but the birthplace of the human soul. Here, the line between past and present, between the physical and the spiritual, is as thin as breath. Each river, each mountain holds the memories of those who walked here before, and every generation is a link in an endless, divine chain. But Africa's role in the sacred story of humankind does not end here. Beyond its myths and legends, Africa has a place in some of the oldest religious texts, where it is remembered not as a distant land but as a realm of wisdom, strength, and divine purpose. In the next part, we journey into the pages of the Bible to uncover the ancient echoes of Africa and its people. Why does Africa echo so deeply in the oldest texts of humanity? What secrets do these ancient words reveal about a land often overlooked? In the sacred pages of the Bible, Africa emerges not just as a setting but as a vital part of the divine plan, woven into the tapestry of humanity's story. The Bible speaks of powerful figures, lands of wisdom, and people marked by both trial and triumph. As we turn the pages of these ancient stories, Africa comes alive in the people who shaped its past and in the mysterious lands that witnessed the earliest encounters between the human and the divine. In the book of Genesis, we find the tale of Noah and his 3 sons, Shem, Japheth, and Ham. After the floodwaters receded, these sons became the progenitors of nations, and it was Ham, as tradition tells, who became the ancestor of African peoples. Ham's descendants settled in the lush, fertile lands that stretched through Kush, modern-day Ethiopia and Sudan, Mizraim, Egypt, and Put, Libya. Africa, even in these earliest records, is portrayed as a place of vitality and life. But the story of Ham and his descendants is shadowed by the mysterious curse of Ham. Misinterpreted and misused through the centuries, this curse was twisted to justify hardship and subjugation, casting a dark shadow over African history. Yet, in the original texts, Ham's descendants were powerful builders, warriors, and visionaries. They were the inhabitants of Egypt, a civilization known for its wisdom, its science, and its reverence for the divine. The mark of Ham was not a curse, it was a legacy of resilience, strength, and survival. As the biblical narrative unfolds, Africa emerges again in the land of Kush, a kingdom described as vast and abundant. Kush was no distant place but one intertwined with the fate of Israel, mentioned often by prophets like Isaiah and Jeremiah. The people of Kush were described as tall and smooth-skinned, and their land was known for its wealth, its resources, and its deep-rooted wisdom. In the book of Numbers, a surprising alliance takes place when Moses, the great prophet of Israel, marries a Cushite woman. This union, controversial and bold, defied the norms of his people, linking Israel's fate to the lineage of Cush. In this act, Moses intertwined his destiny with that of Africa, standing against prejudice and embracing a union that symbolized unity beyond borders. Perhaps the most captivating image of Africa in the Bible is that of the Queen of Sheba, who traveled from her kingdom, believed to be in Ethiopia or Yemen, to meet King Solomon. She arrived with gifts of gold, spices, and precious stones, carrying the wealth and wisdom of her homeland. The Queen of Sheba is described as a figure of strength, intelligence, and grace. Her journey was more than a diplomatic visit, it was a quest for knowledge, a meeting of two great cultures. In her dialogue with Solomon, the Queen of Sheba tested his wisdom and, by the end of her visit, blessed the God of Israel. Her presence symbolizes the respect between her people and Solomon's, bridging two worlds. The tale of the Queen of Sheba continues to be celebrated in African legends, especially in Ethiopian tradition, where it is believed that her union with Solomon gave rise to a lineage of Ethiopian kings. Africa's role in the Bible is a legacy of wisdom, courage, and resilience, intertwined with the fates of those who walked the lands of Israel and beyond. These stories tell us that Africa was never a distant, forgotten place, but a land of sacred significance. But Africa's spiritual legacy goes beyond the Bible. As the teachings of Islam spread across the continent, Africa found itself woven into the fabric of a new faith. In the next part, we'll explore the contributions of African figures in early Islamic history and the enduring connection between Islam and Africa. What role did Africa play in the early days of Islam, and how did its people influence the very foundation of this faith? As Islam emerged in the 7th century, its teachings traveled quickly, crossing deserts, seas, and continents. Africa, with its rich cultural heritage and history, became one of the first regions to embrace this new faith. But the relationship between Islam and Africa was more than just an exchange of beliefs, it was a bond shaped by shared struggles, devotion, and a profound sense of destiny. In the earliest days of Islam, the Prophet Muhammad and his followers faced fierce persecution in Mecca. Seeking refuge for his people, Muhammad sent a group of followers across the Red Sea to the kingdom of Abyssinia, modern-day Ethiopia, where they were granted asylum by the Christian king Negus. This act of compassion created a spiritual bridge between Africa and Islam, a connection based on respect and sanctuary. The king, impressed by the Muslims' devotion and respect for Jesus, offered them protection, saying, "Go, for you are safe in my land." This historic moment marked the first migration, hijra, in Islamic history and is remembered as a time when Africa extended its hand to a fledgling faith, embodying the principles of tolerance and unity. The Prophet Muhammad, deeply grateful, advised his followers to always treat Abyssinians with respect, as they had once offered Islam its first safe haven. Among the companions of the Prophet, few were as beloved and respected as Bilal ibn Rabah, an Ethiopian slave who rose to become one of the most important figures in Islamic history. Born in bondage, Bilal endured intense suffering for his belief in Islam, yet he remained steadfast. Eventually freed by Abu Bakr, a close companion of the Prophet, Bilal became the first muezzin, the one chosen to call the faithful to prayer. With his powerful voice, Bilal's call to prayer resonated across Medina, embodying the spirit of Islam's message of equality and unity. His place in Islamic history remains a symbol of resilience, freedom, and the triumph of faith over oppression. To this day, Bilal's legacy is celebrated as a testament to the deep African roots within Islam, a reminder that Africa's people were foundational pillars in the early Muslim community. As Islam continued to grow, it made its way across North Africa and into the Sahel, where it took root in the kingdoms of Ghana, Mali, and Songhai. These West African empires became centers of learning and spirituality, home to scholars, poets, and philosophers who contributed to the golden age of Islamic culture. In Mali, the great ruler Mansa Musa, one of the wealthiest and most influential kings of his time, undertook a legendary pilgrimage to Mecca. His journey was not only an act of devotion but also a demonstration of the power and faith of African Muslims. Upon his return, he transformed Timbuktu into a hub of Islamic learning, building mosques, libraries, and universities that attracted scholars from across the Islamic world. Timbuktu became a beacon of knowledge, its scholars preserving texts, ideas, and teachings that enriched Islamic culture for generations. Africa's contributions to Islam are woven into the very fabric of the faith, from its earliest days to its expansion across the continent. This relationship, forged through shared values and resilience, continues to shape Islam and African spirituality today. But Africa's story does not end with Islam. In the next part, we'll delve into the apocryphal and mystical texts that offer new perspectives on Africa's spiritual significance. Join us as we explore how Africa is portrayed in early Christian mysticism, shedding light on ancient secrets and divine mysteries. Beyond the familiar Bible stories lies a hidden world of ancient texts and mystical teachings. What secrets do these apocryphal books reveal about Africa's spiritual legacy? In early Christianity, Africa was a land steeped in mystery, a place where sacred knowledge and divine encounters could unfold. While the Bible mentions Africa through the figures of Cush, Egypt, and Sheba, early Christian apocrypha, books excluded from the canonical Bible, expand on Africa's role, painting it as a realm where angels tread, prophets dwell, and divine mysteries reside. These mystical texts, cherished by certain sects and hidden for centuries, offer tantalizing glimpses into Africa's spiritual depth. One of the most revered apocryphal texts, the Book of Enoch, takes readers on a celestial journey through divine visions and hidden realms. Though this ancient book was not included in the canonical Bible, it was highly influential in early Christian and Jewish thought, especially in Ethiopia, where it became part of the Ethiopian Orthodox Church's sacred texts. The Book of Enoch describes a world where angels walk among humans, guiding them through trials and revealing hidden truths. According to the text, Enoch, a prophet of ancient times, was taken on a divine journey to witness visions of the future, the heavens, and the earth. This book presents Africa as not just a physical location, but as a threshold between worlds, a place where the mysteries of life and death, of angels and spirits, could be glimpsed and understood. Ethiopia, a land celebrated for its ancient faith, holds a special place in Christian apocryphal stories. Ethiopian Christians, among the earliest followers of Jesus, preserved texts and teachings that others would lose to time. Legends tell of the Ark of the Covenant being housed in Aksum, Ethiopia, guarded by priests who devote their lives to protecting its secrets. For centuries, the Ethiopian Orthodox Church has claimed a spiritual lineage that connects them directly to the early Christians of Jerusalem, positioning Ethiopia as a center of mystical Christianity. In Ethiopian tradition, it is believed that the lineage of Ethiopian kings descends directly from the union of King Solomon and the Queen of Sheba. This connection to Solomon is not merely symbolic, it is a source of national pride, a living link to the heart of biblical history. Through Sheba, Ethiopia became a land of divine kingship, a place where wisdom and faith converged in the halls of ancient palaces. In early Christianity, Egypt and North Africa became the birthplace of monasticism, with the rise of the desert fathers and mothers, men and women who retreated to the wilderness to live lives of contemplation and spiritual discipline. Figures like Saint Anthony of Egypt and Saint Moses the Black dedicated their lives to God, renouncing earthly comforts and seeking enlightenment in the harsh deserts. These saints are revered as pioneers of the monastic tradition, their teachings inspiring generations of Christians around the world. Saint Moses the Black, a former thief turned monk, became one of the most renowned of the Desert Fathers. His story of transformation and redemption embodies the Christian belief in forgiveness and spiritual rebirth. Moses, once a man feared for his strength and defiance, turned his heart to God, showing that even those with the darkest pasts could find light in the desert's silence. The African desert, with its vast and unyielding landscapes, became a place of spiritual renewal, where saints and seekers communed with God in solitude. This legacy of monasticism continues to inspire those who seek a deeper connection to the divine, a tradition rooted in Africa's wilderness. Africa's spiritual legacy doesn't rest solely in ancient texts and religious traditions. As the continent's wisdom spread, so did unique perspectives on creation, existence, and the divine. In the next part, we'll uncover the mystical teachings and creation myths of indigenous African tribes, each offering their own understanding of the world's mysteries. Long before written words, African tribes passed down stories of creation, life, and the divine from generation to generation. What wisdom do these ancient myths hold about the origins of humanity? Across Africa, a vast array of creation myths paints a picture of the continent's unique relationship with the divine. For many African tribes, creation is not a distant event, but an ongoing process, a living reality where the natural and supernatural are bound together. These stories, filled with gods, spirits, and ancestors, remind us of Africa's role as not only the birthplace of human life but the birthplace of the human spirit. In West Africa, the Yoruba people tell the story of Orunmila, a god of wisdom, and his descent from the heavens to create humanity. According to the Yoruba, the supreme god Olorin instructed Orunmila to journey down from Oran, the heavenly realm, to Ai, the earth, and bring life to its empty lands. Orunmila brought sacred soil, water, and a rooster. As he scattered the soil, the rooster spread it across the earth, forming land and life. Orunmila then shaped the first humans from this soil, imbuing each form with spirit and purpose. For the Yoruba, life is a gift from the heavens, and every soul is a blend of earth and spirit, eternally linked to the divine. This myth reminds us that in the Yoruba worldview, human existence is a sacred bridge between the physical and spiritual realms, with each person walking a path woven by the gods. The Dogon people of Mali share a profound myth that connects humanity to the stars. According to Dogon lore, the Namo, amphibious, wise beings from Sirius, descended to Earth, bringing knowledge, language, and the understanding of life's mysteries. The Namo, often depicted as water spirits, taught the Dogon about agriculture, astronomy, and spirituality, leaving a lasting legacy of wisdom. To the Dogon, the Namo represent a bridge between the heavens and the earth, symbolizing humanity's capacity for knowledge and enlightenment. Through rituals and ceremonies, the Dogon honor the Namo's teachings, believing that their wisdom lives on in each generation. The Dogon's connection to Sirius, a star system invisible to the naked eye, has baffled researchers for decades, sparking intrigue about ancient knowledge in humanity's forgotten past. In southern Africa, the Zulu people believe that humanity emerged from a massive, sacred reed called Uhlanga, which grew along a riverbank. According to Zulu legend, the first humans emerged from the reeds, guided by the spirit god Unkulunkulu, who shaped the world, taught humanity how to hunt, make fire, and cultivate the land. Unkulunkulu is seen as both the creator and the nurturer, responsible for all life on earth. The Zulu creation myth reflects a harmonious relationship between nature and humanity, where life springs forth from the earth itself. It is a reminder that for many African tribes, the divine is woven into the very fabric of the natural world, a force that gives life and sustains it. The Ashanti people of Ghana revere Nyam, the supreme creator, who crafted the universe and established the Abuzum, lesser deities who govern nature, guide humanity, and protect the balance between worlds. According to Ashanti legend, Nyam created the world in harmony, appointing the Abuzum to oversee rivers, forests, and mountains. Each deity reflects an aspect of nature, symbolizing the Ashanti's deep reverence for the world around them. In Ashanti belief, the physical and spiritual worlds are inseparable, and every individual lives under the protection of a personal Abuzum. This belief reinforces the idea that every action has significance, every life a purpose. The Abuzums serve as guides, helping individuals navigate the complexities of life with wisdom, courage, and respect for the natural world. Africa's indigenous myths reveal a world where creation is not a single event but a living story. In each tale, humanity is a sacred extension of the earth, the heavens, and the divine. These stories remind us that life is a tapestry of interconnected forces, a journey guided by ancestors, gods, and spirits who walk alongside us. As Africa's myths and traditions evolved, they carried profound lessons about humanity's origins and purpose. In the next part, we'll explore the modern interpretations of these myths, particularly within the African diaspora, and how they continue to inspire resilience and spiritual awakening among Afro-descendant communities worldwide. How do the ancient stories of Africa continue to shape the identities and beliefs of Afro-descendant communities across the world today? When Africans were taken from their homelands and scattered across the Americas, the Caribbean, and beyond, they carried with them not just their memories but their sacred stories. Though slavery tried to erase their cultural roots, these myths, traditions, and spiritual beliefs endured, preserved through whispers, rituals, and dreams. Today, across the African diaspora, these stories continue to inspire resilience, pride, and a profound sense of belonging to a shared spiritual heritage. One of the most enduring legacies of African spirituality is the worship of the Orisha, divine spirits of the Yoruba religion. Although enslaved Africans in the Americas were forbidden to practice their religions openly, they preserved their faith by adapting it, blending it with elements of Catholicism to create new, syncretic religions. In Cuba, the worship of the Orisha transformed into Santeria, while in Brazil, it became known as Candomblé. In these traditions, Orunmila, the wise creator, became associated with Saint Francis, while Oshun, goddess of love and rivers, was linked with the Virgin Mary. Through these adaptations, the Yoruba spirits continued to live in the hearts of Afro-descendant communities, guiding them through hardship and connecting them to their ancestral past. Santeria and Candomblé not only survived but flourished, providing healing, community, and a sense of empowerment for those who felt uprooted from their origins. In Haiti, enslaved Africans brought their beliefs from the kingdom of Dahomey, which later evolved into Vodou. Vodou emphasizes a deep connection to the spirits, or Lwa, who serve as intermediaries between humans and the divine. Practitioners of Vodou believe that the spirits can guide, protect, and heal, honoring them through ceremonies filled with drumming, dancing, and offerings. Vodou became a force of resistance for enslaved Haitians. The faith inspired the Haitian Revolution, the first successful slave rebellion, which led to the establishment of Haiti as the first free black republic in 1804. For Haitians, Vodou was not merely a religion, it was a source of strength, resilience, and identity that carried them through the fight for freedom. In Brazil, the legacy of African myths took root through Candomblé, an Afro-Brazilian religion that honors the Orixás, spirits of nature and ancestors. Candomblé preserves the ancient African understanding of nature as divine, with each Orixa embodying forces like rivers, thunder, and the sea. For Afro-Brazilians, the Orixás are not distant deities, they are living forces, ever-present and deeply woven into the rhythms of daily life. The celebration of the Orixás through festivals, dances, and music serves as a reminder of the African heritage that remains alive in Brazil. It's a living link to the ancestors, a source of healing and strength, and a way of honoring the resilience of those who came before. Despite centuries of oppression, Afro-Brazilians continue to honor the Orixás, finding guidance and connection in their sacred stories. In recent years, a new movement known as Afrofuturism has emerged, blending African mythology, science fiction, and speculative storytelling. Afrofuturism reclaims the ancient myths and reimagines them in futuristic narratives, empowering Afro-descendant communities by envisioning a future where their heritage is celebrated. Through books, films, and art, Afrofuturism reawakens Africa's myths, reimagining the spirits, gods, and ancestors as champions of strength and wisdom in a new world. In works like Marvel's Black Panther, we see an Afrofuturistic vision of Africa through the fictional nation of Wakanda, a place where ancient wisdom and advanced technology merge. This reimagining serves as a beacon for the African diaspora, a reminder of the strength, resilience, and creativity that flow from Africa's roots to modern times. Africa's myths continue to be a source of resilience, transformation, and identity for the African diaspora. These stories, born from the soil of Africa, cross oceans, transcending generations and inspiring people around the world to connect to a legacy that is ancient yet timeless. The journey of African spirituality doesn't end here. As we delve deeper, we uncover how these myths and beliefs intersect with the narratives found in Gnostic and mystical traditions. Join us in the next part as we explore Africa's place in the hidden spiritual teachings that question the nature of reality, knowledge, and the divine. What if Africa holds the keys to ancient wisdom hidden from much of the world? How might its stories and beliefs intersect with mystical teachings that seek to uncover the truth about human existence? Africa's spiritual traditions do not exist in isolation, they share deep connections with mystical and Gnostic teachings from around the world. Gnosticism, an ancient belief system that emphasizes secret knowledge, or gnosis, for enlightenment, resonates with Africa's indigenous myths of hidden wisdom and divine connection. For those seeking truth beyond established religious norms, Africa's stories offer a fresh perspective on the universe, existence, and the divine. The Gnostics believed that knowledge of the divine was hidden, accessible only to those who sought it with an open heart. In African spiritual traditions, similar beliefs can be found in tales of divine beings, ancestral spirits, and mysterious forces that exist beyond the visible world. Just as Gnostic texts speak of awakening from a false reality, African myths explore the journey of the soul through realms of wisdom, strength, and transformation. In some Gnostic texts, like the Gospel of Thomas, Jesus is portrayed not as a savior in the traditional sense but as a guide to self-knowledge. Likewise, in African traditions, spiritual leaders, or shamans, serve as intermediaries between the visible and invisible worlds, guiding others to understand themselves and the forces that shape their lives. In Gnostic texts, Sophia, the divine embodiment of wisdom, is often depicted as a powerful yet misunderstood figure. Her story of exile, redemption, and wisdom closely mirrors the tales of powerful African goddesses like Oshun in Yoruba belief, who embodies love, healing, and wisdom, or Mawu, the great mother goddess of the Fawn people. Sophia and these goddesses represent the divine feminine and its central role in the balance of the cosmos, connecting humanity to the sacred knowledge of life, nature, and the soul. Sophia's story in Gnostic teachings echoes the African belief in a divine feminine force guiding humanity with grace and wisdom. Through figures like Oshun, Mawu, and Sophia, the divine feminine emerges as a nurturing and powerful presence, teaching that knowledge and wisdom must be sought not only through the mind but through the heart and spirit. In Gnostic teachings, the Demiurge is a flawed creator god who creates a world of suffering and illusion, trapping souls in ignorance. This figure contrasts with African myths, which portray creation as a harmonious and purposeful act. However, there is a similarity in the belief that the material world is just one layer of reality, that true understanding lies in transcending physical existence. African myths often speak of ancestral spirits guiding the living from beyond, offering wisdom and protection. In the Gnostic tradition, enlightenment and liberation from the Demiurge's world come through knowledge of the spirit's true origin. In both beliefs, the material world is a place of lessons and trials, but it is not the end of existence. There is a higher, truer realm awaiting those who seek understanding. In many African spiritual traditions, shamans are seen as wise guides who help individuals access realms beyond the physical world. They act as bridges between the material and spiritual worlds, teaching that knowledge of the unseen can lead to healing, growth, and wisdom. This concept parallels the Gnostic idea of an inner journey toward divine knowledge, where understanding the mysteries of life and death brings one closer to spiritual truth. Shamans across Africa practice ceremonies, often accompanied by drumming, dancing, and chanting, to guide people through visions, dreams, and spiritual transformations. Through these practices, they help individuals connect with their ancestors, gain insight, and experience a form of enlightenment. This ancient African quest for inner truth and connection with the divine is echoed in Gnostic teachings, where spiritual knowledge offers a path to liberation and awakening. Africa's myths and Gnostic teachings both emphasize the power of hidden knowledge, a truth beyond what is seen, heard, or easily understood. For those who seek a deeper connection with the divine, these stories remind us that the search for wisdom is eternal and universal. The journey through Africa's spiritual traditions and Gnostic mysteries shows that enlightenment is found not in one place but across cultures, traditions, and beliefs. As we continue our exploration of Africa's spiritual influence, we look to the present day, where these ancient teachings continue to inspire people worldwide. In the next part, we'll discuss the modern-day revival of African spirituality and how it empowers communities across the globe to reconnect with their heritage and seek spiritual awakening. How do ancient African beliefs find a place in the modern world? What is it about these spiritual roots that continue to inspire and empower millions today? Across continents and generations, a profound reawakening is unfolding. African spirituality, once suppressed and misunderstood, is finding new life as people of African descent, and spiritual seekers of all backgrounds, reconnect with its powerful roots. This revival is about more than honoring ancient practices, it's about reclaiming identity, finding inner strength, and embracing wisdom that has endured through time. In the modern world, where people are often disconnected from their cultural and spiritual heritage, African spirituality offers a pathway back to a sense of belonging and purpose. For many Afro-descendant communities, reconnecting with African spirituality is a way of reclaiming history and identity. Through ceremonies, storytelling, and ancestral worship, these traditions empower individuals to honor their roots and celebrate their heritage. This connection is especially powerful for those whose family histories were fractured by colonization and slavery. By embracing African spiritual practices, they find a way to heal from generational trauma and re-establish a link to the ancestors who once guided their people. Ancestral worship plays a vital role in this revival, as many believe that honoring the ancestors brings protection, guidance, and strength. For practitioners, the spirit of each ancestor lives on, providing wisdom and comfort, reminding descendants of their resilience, courage, and dignity. As African spiritual traditions flourish, so too does the understanding of the deities and spirits that make these beliefs unique. The Orishas of the Yoruba faith, the Lwa of Vodou, and the Abuzum of the Ashanti people are no longer confined to distant lands, they are celebrated and embraced worldwide. Through festivals, music, and art, practitioners connect with these powerful beings, honoring them as sacred guides and protectors who help them navigate the challenges of life. The Orishas, with their unique attributes and personalities, serve as more than divine figures, they are symbols of strength, compassion, and resilience. Practitioners of Santeria, Candomblé, and Vodou often call upon them for healing, wisdom, and courage. In the process, they transform spaces into vibrant altars filled with offerings, candles, and prayers, creating a living connection between the spiritual and material worlds. In today's fast-paced, often isolating world, African spirituality provides a way to reconnect with community and a sense of collective identity. Many African spiritual practices emphasize the power of rituals, ceremonies that bring people together to honor the divine and one another. From drumming circles to communal dances, these rituals offer spaces for healing, reflection, and celebration. They reinforce the idea that healing isn't solely an individual journey, it's something that happens in community, guided by shared history and collective energy. For example, in the African diaspora, rituals like libation pouring, offering water or wine to the spirits, and ancestor veneration have become symbols of unity and resilience. These acts serve as a reminder that despite separation from ancestral lands, the spiritual connections remain unbroken. These rituals also create a powerful emotional outlet, allowing individuals to release grief, anger, and pain as they transform trauma into empowerment. In the age of social media, African spirituality has found a new platform, where it reaches people across the globe. Platforms like YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok have become spaces for spiritual leaders, healers, and practitioners to share teachings, traditions, and insights. This digital presence has expanded African spirituality's reach, allowing more people to learn, connect, and participate, even if they are far from a physical community. Through digital gatherings, workshops, and storytelling, African spiritual practices have evolved, adapting to a modern world that hungers for connection and purpose. Influencers and spiritual guides post tutorials on creating altars, performing rituals, and connecting with orishas, reaching millions who seek to reconnect with African heritage and values. Today's revival of African spirituality isn't just about tradition, it's a movement of empowerment, one that inspires people to break free from restrictive ideologies and reclaim their voices. This new generation is embracing African spirituality not only to find peace and healing but to empower themselves and their communities. This spiritual awakening encourages them to embrace their heritage, honor their ancestry, and redefine their identities in ways that feel authentic and liberating. Through this journey of rediscovery, African spirituality has become a beacon for those seeking truth, healing, and self-awareness. It teaches that the divine resides in nature, in community, and within oneself. By reawakening these ancient practices, individuals around the world find themselves walking in harmony with a past that honors their ancestors and a future that celebrates their identity. The story of African spirituality is ever evolving. In the next part, we'll dive into how African spiritual practices interact with other global religions, creating new forms of spirituality that continue to honor the past while adapting to a changing world. Join us as we explore these intersections and the future of Africa's spiritual legacy. What happens when the deep roots of African spirituality meet the faiths and beliefs of other cultures? How do these interactions create new pathways to understanding the divine? African spirituality is rich, diverse, and adaptable, with its essence found in reverence for nature, ancestors, and the connection between the seen and unseen. Over centuries, these practices and beliefs have encountered other global religions, giving rise to new traditions, blending old and new in ways that honor both Africa's roots and the wider spiritual world. Through the blending of African beliefs with Christianity, Islam, and other world religions, a vibrant tapestry of interconnected practices emerges, offering a fresh perspective on spirituality and identity. In the Americas and the Caribbean, the African diaspora found itself in lands where Christianity was the dominant faith. Enslaved Africans, stripped of their traditional practices, adapted their beliefs in creative and profound ways. This gave rise to new religious forms like Santeria in Cuba, Candomblé in Brazil, and Vodou in Haiti, faiths that blended African spiritual roots with Christian saints, icons, and symbols. For example, the Orisha Ogun, the god of iron and war, was synchronized with Saint George, the warrior saint of the Catholic tradition. Oshun, the Orisha of love and rivers, became associated with the Virgin Mary. In these practices, people found a way to honor the spirits of their ancestors while navigating a world that imposed foreign religious beliefs upon them. The syncretic nature of these religions has allowed them to endure, preserving the heart of African spirituality in a form that adapted to new contexts. Islam entered Africa centuries before it reached Europe, traveling through trade routes in North and West Africa. The interactions between Islamic and African spiritual practices were marked by mutual respect, with African traditions adapting to include Islamic beliefs without losing their essence. In places like Senegal and Mali, Sufism, a mystical branch of Islam, found resonance with African spirituality, as both traditions emphasize inner knowledge, love, and connection with the divine. Sufi orders such as the Tijaniya and Qadiriya became popular in West Africa, where their practices blended with African beliefs in ancestral spirits and sacred rituals. For many African Muslims, Islam is not separate from their traditional beliefs but a complementary path that enhances their spirituality. In Sufi gatherings, drums beat and voices rise in harmony, reflecting both Islamic devotion and African rhythm, a reminder that these spiritual paths can coexist, enriching each other in profound ways. In regions like Trinidad and Guyana, where African and Indian communities lived side by side, spiritual practices influenced each other, creating unique cultural expressions. Hindu and African diasporic traditions, both rich in ritual and symbolism, found common ground through shared reverence for ancestors, spirits, and divine forces. Festivals such as Diwali and African origin celebrations like Emancipation Day highlight this blend. Practitioners honor deities from both traditions, light candles, and offer prayers, finding strength in shared spirituality. This cultural blending, unique to the Caribbean, shows that African spirituality is flexible, adapting and harmonizing with diverse beliefs while retaining its essence. In recent years, as the New Age movement has grown, many seekers of spiritual enlightenment have found inspiration in African wisdom and practices. Concepts like ancestor reverence, energy healing, and nature worship, central to African spirituality, resonate deeply with the New Age focus on holistic wellness, meditation, and spiritual connection. Elements like drumming, chanting, and herbal healing, which have been part of African spirituality for centuries, are now embraced in wellness retreats, meditation practices, and alternative therapies worldwide. The connection with ancestors, once confined to Afro-descendant communities, has gained broader appeal as people from all backgrounds explore their heritage, seeking healing and purpose. As globalization continues to bring people and cultures together, African spirituality's influence only grows stronger. This journey has transformed African spirituality from a set of isolated practices to a global movement that inspires people from all walks of life. For Afro-descendants, these practices serve as a powerful reminder of identity and history. For others, they offer a way to explore spirituality through traditions rooted in resilience, reverence for the natural world, and the wisdom of the ancestors. Through these intersections, African spirituality offers a vision of unity and respect, a reminder that, no matter where we come from, there is much to learn from one another's beliefs and practices. African spirituality shows us that faith, at its core, is about connection, to each other, to nature, and to the divine forces that shape our lives. As we conclude, we look back on Africa's incredible spiritual legacy. Join us in the final part as we reflect on the enduring power of African spirituality in the universal lessons it offers to a world in search of meaning, strength, and healing. How does African spirituality continue to resonate in a world searching for meaning, strength, and healing? African spirituality, with its deep connection to nature, reverence for ancestors, and respect for the unseen forces that shape life, offers a timeless wisdom that speaks to the soul. These ancient beliefs, rooted in the heart of humanity, have withstood centuries of change and adaptation, crossing oceans and inspiring generations. In today's complex world, African spirituality shines as a beacon, offering guidance, resilience, and a reminder of life's sacred unity. The essence of African spirituality is resilience, the ability to endure, transform, and thrive despite challenges. For Afro-descendant communities, this resilience is a testament to the strength and wisdom of the ancestors who carried these beliefs across continents and through generations. Every ritual, every prayer, every celebration becomes a tribute to those who walked before, a way of keeping their spirits alive and honoring their sacrifices. This resilience has inspired not only Afro-descendant communities but people from all backgrounds who seek strength and grounding. The enduring message of African spirituality is that we are not alone, we are part of a larger web of life, connected to one another, to our ancestors, and to the natural world that sustains us. In a time when people often feel disconnected from the natural world, African spirituality reminds us of our deep connection to the earth, the sky, and the waters. Nature is not merely a backdrop to life, it is alive, breathing with spirit and wisdom. Rivers, mountains, and forests hold memories and stories, and every element has its own energy and purpose. The reverence for nature in African spirituality teaches us to honor the environment and recognize its sacredness. This respect for the natural world has become especially relevant in today's environmental movement, where many seek sustainable and mindful ways of living. African spirituality calls for a return to harmony, showing us that caring for nature is an act of caring for our own souls. The tradition of honoring ancestors holds powerful lessons for a modern world that often feels disconnected from the past. For practitioners of African spirituality, ancestors are not distant figures but wise guides who offer support, protection, and guidance. This connection brings comfort, reminding us that those who came before us are always present, offering strength through difficult times. The idea of ancestral guidance has become increasingly popular as people seek answers to life's challenges. By connecting with our heritage, we find roots that ground us, a history that strengthens us, and a purpose that motivates us. African spirituality's focus on ancestors encourages all of us to find wisdom in our roots, to honor our histories, and to build bridges between the past and future. African spirituality teaches that all life is interconnected, that every person, every creature, and every element is part of a larger whole. This belief in unity and respect for diversity has inspired movements for social justice, equality, and peace. African spirituality's emphasis on community, shared experience, and mutual respect resonates in a world that often feels divided. In modern times, this message has inspired many people to look beyond individual beliefs and embrace a sense of shared humanity. African spirituality encourages us to build communities that celebrate diversity, honor each person's unique contributions, and recognize the divine in everyone. The journey of African spirituality is one of survival, transformation, and transcendence. As we reflect on its enduring legacy, we see that its wisdom is not limited by borders or backgrounds. It is a universal message of strength, healing, and spiritual awakening. Whether through honoring ancestors, respecting nature, or embracing unity, African spirituality offers valuable insights that anyone can embrace. In a world that is constantly searching for meaning and connection, African spirituality stands as a reminder that true strength lies in knowing our roots, respecting our surroundings, and finding balance within ourselves. It teaches us that life is sacred, that every moment holds purpose, and that our journeys are guided by forces greater than ourselves. African spirituality is a living testament to the power of faith, resilience, and unity. As we conclude this exploration, let us remember that the wisdom of Africa's spiritual heritage is a gift to all who seek understanding, a legacy of strength for those who strive to heal, and a source of inspiration for those who choose to walk the path of compassion, courage, and love. Thank you so much for watching this video and taking the time to explore this fascinating story with us. If you enjoyed this content, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Your support means the world to us, and God bless us all.